So my friend went to pick up a trailer today for his move, and he said it's already testing him. And I said, why? And he said, because it's so huge. And I said, then you just need to let me handle it.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, I despise moving. I mean, as far as things that I hate the most in life, moving ranks up there with stepping on a Lego and eating dry chicken. It's just the worst.
You know, because you always help me. I move like every July. So it's
And before that, we moved every year too.
Yeah. And so this guy, he has lived in the same house. He's lived in the same place almost 10 years, and he's going all the way across the country, and it's hot. And so, like, I have a way, but it's his house. But I have a way. Like, listen to my way. I'm a pro. When it comes to mover experience, I am expert level. Get out of my way. You know what I have a bad habit of doing? You're pretty ADD. I bet you do this too. Do you move stuff out of your way into your way?
Yeah.
Like, this bottle shouldn't be sitting here, so I'm going to move it over here, right? And in 2 minutes, I'm going to have to walk in that direction, and it's going to be totally in my way, and I'm going to have to move it again.
You know where my ADHD presents itself the worst is when I'm like right now, my house should be painted. I've been painting my house now for like 2 weeks. It should be done. But I get bored of one spot, right? So I'll be painting and I know that I can't go paint somewhere else. I got to finish this one spot, but I get bored. So I go start another project. And then when I start that other project, I got to circle back and finish the painting. But I don't want to circle back and finish the painting because it's boring. And then the other project becomes boring too. Most of my life is a series of half-finished projects because they just all started to get really boring.
Yes, and moving's the same way because you're supposed to do it or organize one room at a time. But then you're taking stuff out of this room and moving into this room. And now I found something in this room that grabbed my attention. And oh my God, look how cute I was when I was 11. Look at these photos. I'm going to sit here and do that. Ooh, Legos. I'm going to play with those. Oh, and then you know what? Right next to those Legos is a pot. I should probably go put that in the kitchen. Oh, while I'm in the kitchen, the dishes need to be done.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. What I've had to do now, if I'm not medicated, the way that I cope, because if I'm medicated, things are usually all right. You know, like I can focus in, I can lock in, dial in, I'm good. If I'm not medicated and I know that I'm starting to squirrel, what I'll do is I'll do the right to left method. I'll start on the right-hand side of wherever I'm working. And I will literally, I mean, it's almost like I'm taking my arm and just scooping. And I'll take everything there and I'll just scoop basically all into one corner. And then when it's in one corner and in one pile, then I just focus on that pile. Because if I give myself the opportunity to work out of 3 or 4 separate piles, then I'll explore the space on all of those piles and not actually finish one because I'll get bored with one knowing there's another.
Yep. And I also talk to myself. And B, I have to reward myself. I'll tell myself, no, finish this room first. I'll say out loud no, do not go into the other room and start that other project. You need to finish room number 1. And then I'll be in the middle of it. I'm like, ooh, I need a sandwich or a glass of wine. No, you know what you're going to do? You're going to finish packing this box. Once this box is done, you can go have a glass of wine because my glass of wine turns into an hour of doing other things.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Like I got to set goals and markers. And if I don't hit those goals or markers, then I just have to be really vigilant with myself to say, if you don't hit those goals or markers, you don't move on. Now, also,
I'll be like, I'm not texting Ian until I finish this task.
But because I can co-sign my own BS, I'll find a way to move past it and be like, yeah, but, and who's going to tell me no?
We're moving all of his stuff, right? All of his stuff. Well, there's a chair that he built that I'm keeping. And I go, we should stain that tomorrow. And he looks at me like, you want a what? I'm like, it'll dry while we're packing the rest of the house. It needs to be stained. And not a good project for right now.
I do the same thing with my friend. I'll come up, like she's super busy, has her own thing going on, you know, and I'm kind of not. So I'll come up with like little projects or ideas, and she'll be smack dab in the middle of doing whatever it is she's doing. Be like, hey, what if we do this? Just like, no, what do you? We
No.
got plans. So
And
I
at
came
first,
up.
when she first started being, and they're not even being rude. They're just like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
And at first, I would take it personally, but then I would have to go, no, he's right. That's going to take like 4 hours out of our day.
So I came up. I came up to visit her one time, like a month and a half ago. A really cool story in this because I ended up getting my birthday present early. I came up like a month and a half ago, and I have rifles, and they're old, like they're really old rifles. They're antique. One of them's like 120 years old. Another one's like 100 years old. Stuff from my dad, my grandpa, stuff like that. They still function. I like to go target practicing. They're just little 22s. And I brought them up one time, and I was like, hey, it's been a long time since I've cleaned out my rifles. Like, and I know you have a kit. Like, do you want to sit down tonight and like clean some rifles and do some things? Not taking into account that she's insanely busy. So we didn't do it that night or the next night, and they just kind of stayed there. I got my early birthday present a few days ago. She had him taken to a gunsmith, and she had them completely bored out, cleaned out,
That's
lubricated, polished, shined, everything. But the point of that story is I had activities for us to do that we were going to squirrel on instead of doing the things that we had to do. And the normal person looked at me like, no, we've got things to do. And my ADHD brain is like, we've got things to do plus this. Why can't we fit it all in?
Yes. Plus, we need to stain my chair.
Yeah. Like, how long will it really take to set up the stain and stain it real quick and let it sit there while you guys do your other things and then come back and put on a second coat if you need to? How long is that really going to take? Probably a while, but we've already justified it in our head that we can do it.
We can do it. Totally do it. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I went through things at my car. I go, I know we have a lot of stuff going on, but here, and then there's some other house stuff that I need him to fix before he leaves. I'm like, so Friday around this time, can you help me out? And he's like, sure.
And
I
it's
go, I know
funny
this
too.
movie's about you, but there are things that you need to have done for me before you leave, or your work here isn't done.
Because think about the practical side of yourself too. Because when it comes to like the activities that you want to do, you'll find a way to fit them in. You'll find a way to be like, why can't we? But then when they've got something going on that's not really connected to you other than you're just waiting, you'll be super practical. They'll be like, well, I'll be there at like 7:00. Be like, will you really be there at 7:00? Because play the movie through. You got to do this until this time, then this until this time. Then you're going to go over here. Then you have to eat. Then you're going to drive. I'm going to say I'll see you around 8:30, maybe 9:00. Don't tell me 7:00. But when it comes to staying in that chair, you're like, yeah, but we can do it while we're doing everything else.
Yep. Throw it in there.
Yeah. What's one chair staining in the middle of all this moving?
All right, you guys, we have Great America tickets and Great America tickets. And then this weekend we have 10 Pin Fun Center tickets. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, guys.